I've killed men for less than a scratch on my car. Built an empire where one word from me decides if someone sees tomorrow. Mumbai's underworld bows to my name, Arjun Malhotra. But that night, that monsoon-drenched night when I found her bleeding on the highway in a torn wedding lehenga, that's when I learned fear. Not of bullets, not of betrayal, but of what happens when a man like me feels something. My driver slammed the brakes. "Boss, someone's in the road." I was already reaching for my gun. Ambushes don't announce themselves, and I had just closed a deal that made me 20 crores richer and 5 enemies angrier. But when the headlights cut through the rain, I saw her, a bride, drenched, barefoot, red lehenga torn and muddied, her jewelry gone except for one broken bangle that clung to her wrist, and blood, fresh blood trailing down her temple. She stumbled toward my car like a ghost, and when her eyes met mine through the windshield, those eyes weren't begging. They were burning. I stepped out. My men raised their weapons. "Stay back, boss. Could be a trap." "Lower your guns," I said quietly. Something in my chest twisted. Something I didn't recognize. She collapsed against the hood of my Mercedes. Up close, I could see the finger marks bruised purple around her throat. The split lip. The way she held her ribs. "Who hurt you?" The words came out rougher than I intended. She laughed. Actually laughed, bitter and broken. "You want a list?" Her voice had thorns in it. "Fire in the rain." "My husband." She spat the word like poison. Or he would have been. His family. Everyone at that wedding who watched him beat me and did nothing. I felt my jaw tighten. I've done terrible things. Things that would make saints weep. But a man who raises his hand to a woman? That's not a man. That's target practice. "Get in the car," I said. She stared at me, taking in the expensive suit. The scars on my knuckles. The gun at my hip that I didn't bother hiding. "You're either going to save me or kill me, aren't you?" she whispered. I opened the door. "Haven't decided yet." She smiled, and that smile should have been my first warning. It was too fearless for someone covered in blood. Too sharp for someone running from death. She got in. I took her to my penthouse. Not a hospital where questions get asked. Not a safe house where my men gossip. My private space. The place where even my most trusted guards need permission to enter. Why? I still don't have a good answer. My doctor stitched her head wound while she sat perfectly still. No tears. No trembling. Just those coal black eyes watching me like she was solving a puzzle. "You're Arjun Malhotra," she said finally. I raised an eyebrow. "You know who I am? Everyone in Mumbai knows who you are. They say you run everything from the docks to the politicians' pockets. They say you've never lost a war. They say a lot of things. They say you're a monster." I poured myself a whiskey. "And yet you're sitting in my home." She stood up, winced from her broken ribs, but stood anyway. Walked right up to me, barefoot on my Italian marble, looking like a warrior princess from some ancient epic despite the bruises. "A monster I choose is better than the good men who were chosen for me." Something detonated in my chest. Something dangerous. "What's your name?" "Inia." She took the whiskey glass from my hand and downed it in one gulp. "Inia Sharma. And before you ask, no, I don't have anywhere to go. No family who'll protect me. That wedding, it was arranged to settle my father's debts. I was sold like furniture. I should have sent her away, given her money, set her up in another city. Instead, I heard myself say, 'You can stay, until you figure things out.' And what do you get in return?" Her eyes narrowed. "Smart girl. Men like you don't do charity. Men like me don't explain themselves either." She smiled again. That dangerous smile. "Good. I hate boring men." Inia wasn't like the society women who decorated my charity events or the bar dancers who warmed beds for favors. She was a problem. First week. She reorganized my entire security schedule, pointed out 3 weaknesses in my apartment's defense, and suggested I fire my accountant for embezzling. She was right on all counts. "You studied this where?" I asked, genuinely curious. "Engineering degree. Before my father gambled it all away." She didn't look up from the laptop she'd commandeered. Turns out logistics and crime aren't that different. You're just moving illegal products instead of legal ones. My lieutenant, Vikram, pulled me aside. Boss, she's seeing too much. She knows our routes, our contacts. Then make sure she doesn't become a liability. You want me to. I want you to do nothing. My voice could have frozen fire. She's under my protection. Vikram's eyes widened. In 15 years, I'd never protected anyone outside the organization. But here's what nobody tells you about letting someone in when you've built walls for decades. It's terrifying. I'd watch her sleep on my guest room couch, her face finally peaceful without fear, and I'd think, what am I doing? She should be running from me, not finding safety with me. It was inevitable. In my world, everything you care about becomes a weapon someone else can use. They came on a Tuesday. Rival gang, the Khanna family, who'd been trying to take my territory for years. They stormed one of my warehouses during a shipment. I was there with 20 men. Inia shouldn't have been there, but she'd insisted on seeing the business side of things, claiming she couldn't help optimize what she didn't understand. Stubborn. Reckless. Mine. Gunfire exploded through the warehouse. My men returned fire, but we were outnumbered. I pulled Inia behind a cargo container. Stay down. Don't move. Don't make a sound. Give me a gun, she said. What? I said give me a gun. I'm not hiding while you die. You don't know how to. She grabbed my backup pistol from my ankle holster before I could stop her. My father took me to ranges before he became useless. I know how to shoot. A Khanna soldier rounded the corner. Inia didn't hesitate. Bang. Center mass. He dropped. She looked at me, breathing hard, eyes wild. I'm not helpless. Stop treating me like I am. I'd never wanted to kiss someone and lock them away from the world simultaneously before that moment. We fought our way out. Together. She watched me break a man's neck with my bare hands. Saw me execute the Khanna lieutenant without blinking. And when we got back to the penthouse, covered in blood and gunpowder. I should be horrified, she whispered, standing in my living room. I should be running. Why aren't you? I stepped closer. Because for the first time in my life, her voice cracked. I feel free. That wedding, my family, that life, it was a prettier cage. But still a cage. And this, I gestured to the world around us. The violence. The danger. This isn't. This is choosing. Every day I stay, I choose. That's more freedom than I've ever had. I touched her face. The bruises were healing now. I'm not a good man, Inia. I never asked you to be good. She leaned into my palm. I asked you to be real. I kissed her. And the world I'd built on blood and bullets cracked open. Loving Inia made me weak. That's what Vikram said when he found out. When he saw me smile at her across a room. When he noticed I took her opinions seriously. When he realized she wasn't leaving. Boss, she's your vulnerability now. Everyone will see it. Everyone will use it. He was right. Her ex-groom, Raghav Singhania, the man who'd beaten her, came looking. He had political connections. Money. Ego. He sent me a message. Return my bride, or I'll make sure every cop in Mumbai knows about your shipments. I sent back his messenger's finger. But Raghav escalated. He went to my biggest rival, Yash Khanna, the brother of the man I'd killed in the warehouse. They formed an alliance. Against me. Two powerful families. United by their hatred of me. And their desire to hurt me through her. The threat came by video. Inia's picture with crosshairs over her face. I felt something I hadn't felt since I was 16 and powerless. Fear. I called my entire syndicate together. 50 men. My army. We're going to war, I said simply. And some of us won't survive. If anyone wants out, leave now. No judgment. Nobody moved. They're coming for her. I looked at each face. The woman the woman under my protection. If they get to her, they'll torture her. Use her. Kill her slowly to break me. Vikram stepped forward. Then they'll have to go through all of us, boss. Loyalty. The only currency that matters in my world. But then Inia walked into the room. I'd told her to stay hidden. Safe. Of course she didn't listen. No, she said clearly. You're not going to war for me. India. I'll turn myself into Raghav. End this before more people die. The room went silent. I crossed the distance between us in 3 strides. Gripped her shoulders. Are you insane? I'm practical. Her eyes glistened. He wants me, not your empire. Let him have what he wants. You get to keep your power, your men. I don't want power without you. The words exploded from me. In front of everyone. 50 men heard the most feared criminal in Mumbai admit he loved someone. Don't you understand? I lowered my voice. I've built this empire on fear. On violence. On being willing to sacrifice anything for control. Then sacrifice me. You're the first thing I've ever wanted more than power. My hands were shaking. You think I don't know how weak that makes me? You think I don't lie awake knowing every enemy I've made will come for you? Tears slid down her face. Then what do? I turned to my men. We make them regret they were ever born. I've fought many battles. But fighting for someone you love is different. Every bullet that flies could end the world. We hit them first. Hard. Strategic. Raghav's wedding hall, where he'd beaten India, I burned it to the ground. Yash Khanna's drug warehouses. I had them raided by the few honest cops left in Mumbai, with evidence I'd been collecting for years. But they adapted. They hired mercenaries. International guns. They attacked one of my clubs. 17 people died, including 2 of my oldest soldiers. I attended their funerals with India beside me. She insisted. They died because of me, she whispered at the graveside. They died because of choices, I corrected. Evil men's choices. We're just the ones who refused to submit to them. The final confrontation happened at the abandoned textile mill, neutral ground, proposed for negotiations. I knew it was a trap. I went anyway. I took 30 men. Vikram insisted on being point. India grabbed her gun. No, I said flatly. I'm not asking permission. Her jaw set in that stubborn way. You need every gun you can get. I need you alive. Then keep me that way. She checked the magazine. But I'm coming. The mill was dark, echoing, perfect for ambushes. They had 50 men to our 30. Raghav stood in the center, confident. Yash beside him. Arjun Malhotra, Raghav called out. Finally, bring out my bride, and maybe I'll let you walk away. She was never your bride. I stepped forward, India beside me. She's not property. Raghav's eyes found her, filled with rage. You think you can shame me? Run away, whore yourself to a criminal, and face no consequences. India raised her gun, aimed it at his face. The only shame, she said coldly, is that I ever believed you were human. Bang. She shot him. Not to kill, through the shoulder. He screamed and dropped. All hell broke loose. Gunfire lit up the darkness like lightning. My men fought like demons. Vikram took 3 bullets but kept firing. I saw Yash Khanna moving through the chaos, trying to flank us. I intercepted. We fought hand to hand, brutal and close. He pulled a knife, slashed my arm. I broke his wrist and put 2 bullets in his chest. But in the chaos, I lost sight of India. India. I found her cornered by 2 of Raghav's men. Her gun was empty, and she had a knife in her hand, one of mine, taken from my boot. She'd already stabbed one attacker. The other grabbed her throat. I've never moved faster in my life. I killed him with my bare hands. Primal. Vicious. When the gunfire finally stopped, we'd won. Barely. Raghav was crawling toward the exit, bleeding. I walked over, put my foot on his back. You hurt her, I said quietly. You put your hands on her. You made her bleed. Please, he gasped. Please, I'll pay anything. There's no price for what you did. India appeared beside me, looked down at the man who'd tried to own her. Let him live, she said. I stared at her. What? Let him live as a coward. Everyone in Mumbai will know he lost to a woman he tried to beat into submission. That's worse than death for men like him. I smiled. God, I loved her. We left him there, broken and humiliated. 3 weeks after the war. We stood on my penthouse balcony. Mumbai stretched below us, the city I controlled, the empire I'd bled for. I have to leave, Inia said quietly. My blood froze. What? This war won't be the last. There will always be someone who wants to hurt you through me. She turned to me, eyes bright with unshed tears. I love you too much to be your weakness. No. My voice was raw. No, you're my strength. You're the only real thing in this entire fake world. Arjun, I'm leaving the syndicate. She blinked. What? Vikram can run it. He's ready. I'll keep the legitimate businesses, but the underground, I'm done. I cupped her face. I'm choosing you. Over all of it. You can't. She shook her head. This is your empire. Your identity. Everything you've built. Means nothing without you. I kissed her forehead. I've spent 20 years building walls. You're the first person who made me want to tear them down. They'll call you weak. Let them. I smiled. I'd rather be weak with you than powerful without you. She grabbed my collar, pulled me down, kissed me hard. I'm not letting you give up everything, she whispered against my lips. We'll find another way. What way? Her smile turned sharp. Dangerous. That smile I'd fallen for. You taught me this world. Now let me reshape it with you. 6 months later. I still run Mumbai's underworld. But now I do it with her. Inia became my partner. Not my weakness, my equal. She negotiates deals the old bosses would never see coming. She's strategic, brilliant, and the only person in the city who can tell me I'm wrong and live. We married in secret. No grand wedding. Just us, Vikram as witness, and vows made over weapons and whiskey. You know we're going to hell for this, she said that night, wearing my ring. Then we'll rule there too, I replied. She still has nightmares about her first wedding. Sometimes I wake to find her staring out at the city, that old fear flickering in her eyes. Those nights I hold her and promise. No one will ever hurt you again. I'll burn the world down first. I know, she whispers back. But save some of the world. I want to live in it with you. People ask if I regret choosing love over absolute power. I tell them power is having someone who'd die for you. Love is having someone who lives for you. And Inia? She does both. We're building something new, not just a criminal empire, but a legacy. One where we rewrite the rules. Where women like her don't get sold. Where men like me learn that strength isn't just violence. It's choosing mercy when you could destroy. It's protection instead of possession. It's love in a world built for hate. My name is Arjun Malhotra. I've killed, conquered, and controlled. But the bravest thing I ever did was open the car door that rainy night and ask, who hurt you? Because the answer changed everything.